I feel like I need to just cut over the intro audio for this and just play like Enter Sandman or some shit. Because this is Metallica's. And
that or for him the bell tolls, one of the two.
Oh, good idea.
just
catch me doing that. Actually. Up until right about now, it's going to be For Whom the Bell Tolls.
Fucking bells and then...
Yeah, exactly. But so, this is... do you know about how Metallica actually played a role in aging this whiskey? Like,
no.
Directly?
No,
so,
what is the story?
The sound designer in me nerds out at this. Because they built subwoofers that go around the barrel and uses the vibrations from playing Metallica music to actually agitate everything to make the whiskey seep deeper into the barrel and break off tiny bits of char that dissolve into the whiskey. And it actually affects the taste directly.
So they're kind of doing something similar to like the Jefferson's Oceans with like the constant motion of...
Yes, they use the constant motion and the sea salt. This one uses the vibrations of their music.
That's so
which is
dope,
really
actually.
cool. And like the fact that I'm reading about this and I hear this and it works, it's making sense to me. I'm like, holy shit, this is actually possible. They probably actually did this. But it's finished in black brandy cask. It just says it's a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it said whenever I looked at it.
Yeah. So I don't know what any kind of mash bills. I don't know anything about it beyond that. There isn't really much info on that part of it.
Fruity as fuck on the nose.
That's the black brandy cask.
Juicy fruit, mixed berries. I don't get like any apple or pear. Like it's a lot of like colorful fruits.
It reminds me, it's more of like the notes you would get from a cognac.
Yeah.
Maybe a little orange or like orange zest.
I would say orange zest is in there. There's definitely some citrus. Blackberry is like the big.
Blackberry, yeah.
That's the big.
Which makes sense.
note.
Like, you can tell everything about the name. They picked black brandy cask. It's called Blackened. I want to say it's aged like 5 or 6 years too.
Yeah,
It's not a super young whiskey. I don't think it's a super young whiskey. It doesn't smell like one.
It's probably a blend of whiskeys that are 4 to 6 years old. That's right. Typically the standard for NAS blends like this.
And especially when you get into the $50 range, you're typically not using super young product anyway.
Right.
Because you don't want to pay $50 for a 2-year whiskey. I'm looking at you, Wiggle. Even though they're coming out with 5-year stuff for $60.
They have a 6-year age-stated single-barrel American whiskey.
I do kind of want to try it, just because I feel like it'll eliminate my problems with them.
I don't, because I know I'm going to be disappointed.
Fair.
Now, that being said, I would happily go to their distillery and do a flight and try it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's what I would do. I would never buy the bottle.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, no. I would be excited to try it. I'm not excited at the idea of spending money on it.
Unless it ends up reaching my expectation. But anyway, back to Blackened. We can stop shitting on Wiggle.
We will never stop shitting on Wiggle.
Oh, that's really sweet.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it's kind of like the Buffalo Trace Kosher, where it's a very fruity sweetness.
Right. Like, wow.
You don't really get many bourbon notes from it. You get a lot of, it does like what the Thomas More stuff did. It picks up so much of the brandy.
Right. Like, this is a very, there's no spice. It doesn't have a lot of heat. It's not oaky at all. Like, it's all like the sweet caramel,
Caramel's
a lot of the
closest to a bourbon note that I am getting from it.
And that's just because it's new oak. Like,
right. But like the fact that it's finishing it in the black brandy cask and having the sound waves actually allow the whiskey to seep deeper into it is just going to pull more of that too. So they don't. It's like what Thomas More did with aging it for 3 years, except they could age it half as long, and because of how they do it, they could possibly even extract more flavor from it.
Right. Like this is ton of juicy fruit. Gum. I get a ton of blackberry. Not as much raspberry as I expected, but there's a lot of blueberry as well. Like a lot of dark berries. Mm-hmm. Fresh dark berries though, not dried fruit. Like fresh dark fruit.
Right. And I don't get any. It's weird because I get all the fruit, but I don't get the other sort of brandy notes and cognac notes. I don't get a ton of the orange zest or anything on the actual palate.
Yeah, there's a little bit of like. I don't even want to say orange juice. It's more like an orange oil, almost.
Almost like there was a tiny bit of like, they squeezed a tiny bit of pulp in it or something, but took that.
Yeah.
Like there's just a little something.
Because it's not like pithy. There's like none of that like orange pith bitterness or like any rind bitterness. it's like if you could take like orange Gatorade, like that's like the type of orange I would say I get on this.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like Powerade orange.
Yeah.
That I actually had that earlier today. That tastes very similar to that little.
Yeah, it's like
it's fake, but it's enough that you notice it, and that's exactly what I'd attribute it.
Yeah, because it's like kind of fake orange, but it's closer to orange than you would think.
Right.
Which is hard to explain until you taste it, because I don't normally like orange flavored things, but orange Gatorade and orange Powerade are fantastic.
And I do get a little bit, as it opens up, I get a little bit of like, I don't want to say tannins, but a little bit of some sort of a drier note to it on the finish. I can't place what it is. It's not like oaky, it's not tannic, but there's something.
It's not leather either. It might be like
maybe like
tobacco,
toffee?
maybe. I wouldn't say toffee is a drying note though. I would say like if anything, it's like a fresh pipe tobacco, like an aromatic pipe tobacco.
Right.
But even then, it's very faint. It's more of like some kind of spice.
That's fair, dude. That's weird.
Rip pens.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's happening. Motherfucker, there's so many pop-ups.
Well, that's because you're on a site that's trying to give your computer AIDS.
Well, yeah. But it's handling it all right, as long as I don't click on the things.
It's Max's computer, probably already has it.
Right. But anyway, this is like...
This is a surprising... Like, I didn't know what to expect, but I'm really surprised at this.
This is good. This is good.
Keep in mind, this is $50. I feel like... Hear me out on this, considering we were just talking about this. The Buffalo Trace kosher wheat. This, I feel like, would be a decent substitute. A little less sweet, but...
The same idea with, like, the bright fruit and candy-like flavors, I agree with, but this is a far darker whiskey. I mean, as stated, like, black brandy, blackberries, where, like, that Buffalo Trace kosher wheat was all, like, gigantic, swirly lollipop.
And Starburst.
And like, literally any bright candy flavor you can think of it.
I would say, though, that this comes the closest to that.
With how fruity and bright it is, yes. But this, I would say, is more of a natural fruit flavor.
Right. But...
Anyways.
Yeah, you see why I was really hyped after trying this?
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, $50.
This is fantastic.